The only thing I have under President's report, one of the things I agreed to do after some confusion at the work session regarding the zoning hearing board meetings. Zoning hearing board, and I spoke with the chairman of the zoning hearing board as well as the solicitor regarding the timing of their meetings and the notification to make sure that we have the communication issue resolved, because the handshake or the communication regarding a hearing last week there was a lot of confusion about it. Now, what's happened is the zoning hearing board is trying to act with a little bit more regularity, because what they found in the past was that the scheduling a meeting on an ad hoc basis was a lot more difficult than having a standing meeting that they could rely on to discuss their applications. What the solicitor had indicated to me that there are 60 days that they have to put a zoning application on the agenda. My concern was council meetings may occur after, or something may be proposed or submitted to the zoning hearing board subsequent to a meeting, where they will have a meeting prior to our chance to get together and discuss it. And while the specific zoning hearing board case last week was cited as one, there was some confusion regarding that one because of it being the first time that they had implemented their second Tuesday of the month meeting. There was pinning down that particular date seemed to be somewhat of an exception, and I think that the way they have it set is that the solicitor assured me that there will not be any zoning hearing board meeting set when there's not a borough council meeting between the time of submission and the time of the item on the agenda.
All right.
Okay, and that was assurance given. The concern initially was that there was a 45-day period, which wouldn't work in our favor, but the fact is it's a 68-day period, and we will always have meetings. We would always be able to put it off to another meeting should there be a problem.
I think the issue in this case was we were not informed of the date that application was assigned to. That we were told that they meet the first Tuesday of the month or whatever it was, but we got the application. At that point, the date had not been set, and then when the date was set, that we were not informed, and I only found out by accident and happened to go to the meeting. So I think that there was a lack of communication from the board to say, yes, we meet on the first Tuesday of the month, and this one is scheduled on this date.
Right.
We never Did you work out a way to make sure that communication happened?
Well, Mark, if I could. First off, at the last work session, I made the statement that the zoning hearing board, in my report, as a matter of fact, it was a month ago, the last Tuesday public meeting, I made an announcement that they had adopted the first Tuesday of every month as their meeting. So that we knew about. The application that was in question here was submitted in plenty of time for our review, and in fact, I brought that to everyone's attention and stipulated that there was no date. There was a lack of communication when the date was assigned, the hearing date was assigned. Somehow it never got to council, it never got to myself as liaison, it never got to our solicitor. None of that happened. However, we had adequate time to review that application and take action on it. We chose not to because there was no hearing date assigned, which is our responsibility, because we don't need a hearing date to make that determination. We can review that application from when it was submitted and figure out whether we'd like to oppose that application or not. And in this case, we had adequate time. We chose to put it off until there was a date assigned, which is our mistake, not theirs.
With the case of that last one, because they've created a set date, the first Tuesday of the month for the zoning hearing board, we should assume that one would be on that particular date, and we probably should have discussed it.
No, we should have acted on that one, but there is no assumption because you still don't know what the date is. because suppose that date didn't work out for the applicant and they chose to go a couple months later. So yes, I think we should act on an application as soon as we receive it so that this doesn't happen again. But we need to make sure that the zoning hearing board has a reliable way of communicating to us that, in fact, this is the date it's going to occur on. And in particular, I'm concerned that our solicitor didn't even know about it, because I'm sure had he known, he would have contacted us and said, you know, you never gave me any direction, what do you want to do?
Well, they have, correct me if I'm wrong, they have 60 days from the submission.
From the submission.
Right.
So we know that they can't decide they're going to have it 3 months later or couple
Well, no,
months down the
applicant
road.
can do that. The applicant can make that decision.
Only,
Now, the applicant can insist
Insist.
on having it within that period,
Or
he
can
grant.
grant it later.
well,
But
we
in
should,
this case, it was not even,
we should
it wasn't
always
even
work
that
on
long.
the assumption that the hearing is going to occur within the time period.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm saying that it's in this particular instance, it's a shared responsibility that we should have assumed that we needed to review that without a date certain on the hearing, and they should have notified us through the channels, and there were many channels that failed here, not just the zoning hearing board, but also in our office as well. The zoning officer was aware of the date, but didn't forward that information to anyone either. She was under the impression that the solicitor from the zoning hearing was responsible for notifying us
Right,
of
and
that
the
date.
problem with that is that the solicitor for the zoning hearing board doesn't work for us. They work for the zoning hearing board.
Correct.
And really, our zoning officer should
Should-
assure that we are aware of the date.
Right.
And that is a big
Okay,
problem.
so that's where the
We
communication
cannot
broke down.
rely on the solicitor from the zoning hearing board because he doesn't work for us.
If I may interject, the Borough Council may want to consider that as a matter of policy going forward, that as soon as that application is received, that it's automatically put on the agenda for that next meeting, thereby relieving all the concerns. And then as long as the zoning hearing board doesn't schedule it before they said they're going to, it should be fine, but certainly you'd monitor it and have some communication with the zoning hearing board solicitor to make sure that doesn't happen.
Exactly.
So going
yeah.
forward, that's
That'd be a
my
reasonable
recommendation.
policy, and leave it up to you guys that are going to be here to go along with that. But I just wanted to get back and talk about some of the reason for the confusion on the last one.